you already tell them what we're doing?
I did not.
All right, we're doing a gear dump. Need to button up a lot at times.
No, dude, you're dialed.
I threw all my sticks and stuff in here. Like sometimes I'll literally walk around with it like this.
That's not sketchy at all.
Tag teaming with G5 is actually gonna hopefully bring that project to life for us. And you did a gear dump 3 years ago?
3 years ago I did a gear dump.
I've never done one.
Yeah.
So you're gonna get a little pizzazz on this, some salt and some pepper. Drew's way more dialed, I'm a little more shoot from the hip guy.
I think the real story of it is I spend way too much time thinking about gear and not killing deer, and you spend too much time killing deer. Actually, that's not possible. You spend all your time killing deer and not thinking about gear.
Anything else.
I might learn something from this.
Well, I need to button up a lot at times.
No, dude, you're dialed.
So
dialed.
We actually have a build out going on at the HQ, so we got to catch you guys up to that. We've got a couple projects that we get asked about a lot. That we've kind of kept internal for a while. It's our first time unpacking that. And then we're actually gonna I actually have 3 secret items now.
Oh,
I added one since yesterday.
We also have a couple giveaway announcements in this video. So big ones, biggest giveaways we've ever done by far.
Without a question.
So y'all definitely wanna catch that.
You wanna give us a walkthrough?
Yeah, before we jump into it, we've talked about building this HQ out for a while. Everything takes longer than you think it's gonna take, but we are finally in the process of building this out. We have this whole building now. If you guys came to the Venison Project event, we were in this half. Now we have the back half. We're building an office studio in the back half. So let's go check it out real quick. This is it. It's not much yet, but it's getting there. We got the framing in for the conference studio room over here. And then this is gonna be like, I guess, the video production room. And this open space is gonna be just open office. This whole wall right here, we're putting plywood on it so we can put up mounts. I still have my elk and some other animals that just don't fit in my house. So hopefully we'll have my elk, and then Lee and I are actually both going on an elk hunt this year, and a moose hunt. So we got a bunch of big stuff hopefully hitting the ground here soon, and they'll all go up on that wall. We already have 2 rooms built out. Kendall is actually a developer full-time, and he's developing a hotel in downtown Roswell. And they did 2 model rooms in here. So we have legit like 5-star hotel rooms already built out.
Why are there still rubber chickens running around?
Don't worry about the chickens. It's kind of crazy. I feel like MTV Cribs.
This is
So
random.
Literally a full-blown hotel room bed.
And look, another chicken in the shower. They're just everywhere.
We've been infiltrated by rubber chickens. And then we got that single room and then a double room right here. So one of them, we're gonna turn that one into an office. This one I think we're just gonna leave as a hotel room for now. Have camera guys stay here, and thinking about Airbnb-ing it out. So comment in this video if you guys wanna come stay up here with us. So then this room is gonna be our studio conference room. We got a sick table built by a company here in Atlanta. It's got like the C1 logo kind of epoxied into the top of it. So we'll have a big conference table, double as a conference room, podcast studio, and just video studio in general. Something that we haven't had. We've been using Lee's basement. Really pumped to finally have something here at the office.
All right, let's jump into kind of the housekeeping items. First off, the giveaway stuff. Get a little more details on that. We said it's like the biggest one we're doing, and we mean it. So I've always dreamt to go to Canada. I've always like just magazines as a kid, like in watching TV shows, like when I was younger, about like Saskatchewan, like the dark chocolate antlers and just like cold temps up there. And so we're actually through World Trophy Adventures doing a hunt giveaway for you guys to come hunt with me on kind of my dream hunt in Canada. It's going to be in December, beginning of December.
Yeah, I think November 30th through December 4th or 5th.
And it's going to be
details in the description.
Brutally cold, like horribly cold.
Yeah.
So whoever wins, like pack your warmest stuff and then some sleeping bags on top of that, because it's going to be like, he said potentially -30.
Oh God.
I don't know how that works. And I can't
Once you
fathom
hit
it
freezing,
either.
I feel like it's everything else below that's the same.
So that's kind of the biggest giveaway that we're doing. That's going to actually be live the second this video drops. And it would be through our website, through our merch. Any details on that?
No, we'll put the details in the description, link to our website. You guys might want to go ahead and block off the first week of December.
And you might want to reconsider buying an item on the website if you do not want to go hunt in Canada. You might accidentally win. But second big giveaway that we're going to do later in the year is the Kawasaki giveaway. We're actually going to be giving this unit away to one of you guys. That's probably running in October timeframe.
I think so. Right after the hunt giveaway, we'll run that one.
So right after the Canada hunt with me giveaway ends, the Kawasaki giveaway will be live. Again, just trying to like leverage partnerships to potentially give you guys a cool opportunity to get your hands on some cool stuff. Always looking for like bits of opportunities like that. But jumping into probably the two most asked questions that we get, like my DMs are bombarded with this, and it's Bonehead and the feed carrier bags.
Yeah. Every day we get messages about the feed carrier.
Full of, I mean, when's it coming out? I've seen this in this video.
Yeah.
Like, so we've been working on some things. Let's go to your truck bed and kind of dive into it.
Jumping into the feed carrier, I think Lee used this, the other version of this bag maybe 2 years ago, the first time. And for whatever reason, there are no other bags out there designed to haul feed into the woods. Lee's bringing up his sample that he used a couple years ago right now.
This is the bag you guys have seen us use like countless times in our episodes. It's been great. The problem is, like a year or so ago, the seams just started busting, and I actually haven't been able to use a bag in the last year or two. Drew has done a phenomenal job designing these bags, and like these things are legit, like very, very, very well built. Mm-hmm. And
yeah, another issue with that one is I think they stopped selling them. But what's shocking to me is that nobody else built a bag that's designed for this, because we use this bag more than any other bag for most of the year.
Yeah.
Keep it in the back of the truck. This one we designed this to hold like 80, 90 pounds. You could probably get 100 pounds into it if you really wanted to.
I have fit 150 pounds of mineral and feed and stuff in it. Like, yeah. I mean, I have put these things to the test.
Yeah. This is actually the last proto sample. They're not going to be black. They're going to be a different color. I'm not going to give a ton of detail on it. We can do another video, but basically zipper top. It rolls up once you fill it up. Got handles all over it because obviously throwing around a 90, 100 pound bag is a lot of weight. And it's super comfortable. So we should have these probably end of October, early November. They'll be on the website.
We're wanting to kind of like really thoroughly test the prototypes. Like I know the pocket was a little too small to like hold trail camera, so it's like we're trying to like really dial this thing in and try to find any weak points. That just takes time.
I filled it with 90 pounds, stood up on the top of the truck, and literally like spiked it off the top of the truck 5 times to see if it'd break. Like a couple of plastic buckles broke, but all the seams were rock solid. Yeah. So we're pumped about this thing.
So this is extremely useful as like if you're in a bait state and you're hiking stuff in, you can carry your feed in. I've used it this season to put in food plot mix and just load the sucker up and fan cast it around. I've used them to carry in minerals. I actually used them, this was yesterday. I had a set that I had hung that had like a ton of sticks and a couple platforms in it, and I was like, I'm gonna be walking out like this, carrying the stuff around. So it's like I threw all my sticks and stuff in here. It's just like anything that you would need, like a cargo type bag.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of uses for it, but because of using this thing a few times in videos, like across the board, one of the most massive DMs we get from y'all is like, where do you get that bag? Where do you get that
Hundreds
bag?
of people have asked about it.
It's crazy. So we've heard y'all, we're working on it, we'll have it to you soon. Probably second in the pecking order on DMs is when is Bonehead becoming available?
We've been working with this guy named Steve for 12 years, more, 15 years. Kendall's known him for 20.
Yeah.
He's a local trapper, one of those kind of guys that just tinkers nonstop, like takes animal parts, mixes them up, tries all kinds of different things, and finds what the deer and beavers and coyotes really want. We've been talking to him for a long time about partnering with us on a scent brand, and the last couple of years we finally put that together. So last year we launched just the Bonehead scrape scent. It sold out in like 2 days, maybe.
Quick.
I want to say it was sort of a test run, but we had quite a few bottles. people just wanted it so much just because we've used it for so long. We've killed so many deer over mock scrapes using this stuff. Still limited on quantity because Steve is literally brewing this stuff in his like backyard shop.
By hand, these are recipes and concoctions that he's come up with over years and years of trapping. He is like old school, which I love, and it is like nothing is like I say processed, but like there's no corners cut here.
There's
like,
no watering it down.
No, this is like the best stuff that you can get on the market, and we have killed so many deer over these scrapes, mock scrapes that we've been putting out for as long as I can remember. Like before Seek 1 was ever filmed and was ever a thing, we were killing stuff over Steve's concoctions here.
Yeah.
My worry is that it's going to go quick again. Like last year, we were like, all right, surely that's enough to like, you know, last a while. And it was literally like gone instantly. We're trying to get more this year, but again, like Steve can only make so much. So if you're like interested in this stuff, like try to get to the front of the line because it's going to go really fast again.
We started with 1 product last year. We actually have 3 more this year. We just have regular buck urine, mature buck urine, and generally we spray this on the licking branch and in the scrape and then put the buck urine in the scrape. This is just 100% pure, not watered down buck urine. This is Sanctuary, and essentially what this is like a deer herd scent. Again, he just like takes parts, glands from a bunch of different deer and mixes it all together, and the idea is to make the deer feel comfortable. So if you're going in and out of a stand a bunch, just kind of spraying this around, spraying it on your boots, it should kind of calm them down and kind of let them know that other deer have felt comfortable in that area.
Yeah, deer are tuned in to where other deer have been just hanging out, spending time. So it is meant to be a calming effect of like, buck walks into an area and he just smells kind of that, all right, there's been deer that have been in here, like everything's cool, calm, like good. And it's meant to essentially be a calming effect. We actually, for the first time, will be doing doe and estrus, which will probably be a shorter run and a better or more of a smaller time window on the estrus. But in that late October, November time frame, we're starting to spray this in some of our scrapes, try to drive some of those mature bucks crazy. So this will be probably a hide item that will go quick. And again, like all this stuff is as fresh as it can get. It is not watered down or tampered with like in any way, shape, or form. I don't even know if it even touches machines. I think he's literally making it and like hand pouring a lot of this stuff. So that's why it's hard to get out in large quantities.
By the time this video drops, these will be shipping and on the site within 2 weeks, at most 2 weeks. We're actually going to run a pre-sale as soon as this video drops. So go on the website. If you order it, should be here in the warehouse to ship out at the latest within 2 weeks.
If you are entering our giveaway and you buy a Bonehead product, it's 2 points, double points. All right, jumping into our gear picks. So kind of a disclaimer before we get into the product side of things. Some of the stuff you're about to see, you guys know that we are a partner with. You've seen us with these things for a long time, or these companies for a long time. Some of the stuff we have no affiliation with whatsoever. And that's just a disclaimer to you guys. Like, we have had companies approach us with contracts of like, hey, can we pay you to use this? And like, we've tried the product, didn't believe in the product, or just, you know, for whatever reason, like not aligned morally with the people behind the brand, and have walked away from a lot of contracts like that. That is really important to us to share, that like, yes, we do have partners, but the reason we have selected who we have is like, that is who we believe in. We believe in their products, we believe in their people.
Yeah.
And it's not just about dollars, because we've walked away from a lot of opportunities like that in the past with products that we just did not believe in.
Whenever you do a gear video, I think that's like the first thing that comes to people's mind is, oh, he's just getting paid to say all this stuff. From day one, that's not how we've run our business. We've partnered with people that make products that we believe in and we're using before we even had conversations with them. So
yeah,
wanted to get that out there before this. First up, we each got 2 random picks of stuff that you wouldn't really think of that's not in your like core gear categories. You get asked a lot of questions. Why don't you start with yours first?
I actually have 3 now. I added one this morning because I was using it. And if you're in the South, this will resonate with you guys a lot. And this is a technical piece, and it is advanced, and the science behind it is hard to fathom. But this is my #1 pick, a stick.
It's a nice
if
stick.
You're in the South and you have Duro spiders, you know good and well that this is the best thing you can have in your hand, because They are
That's
so
true.
bad down here in the summertime scouting. And so I always have a stick in the back to knock down the Juro spider webs.
That's essential.
If you don't have Juro spiders in your state, you are lucky. But this is in the South, big deal. Number 2, which is sort of plays into hand-to-hand with the stick thing, is a good machete. I've got 2 versions here. This one is a more preferred version for, like, if you're scouting, you got a new spot and you're walking through the woods, like, one, knocking down spider webs, but also, like, if I'm putting a camera on a tree and I need to clear some branches or whatever, like, I'm either clearing a trail when I'm going in, or, you know, putting a camera out to knock out limbs that maybe give false triggers, like I'm taking a machete and just, like, cleaning stuff up. I would not recommend this one. It resembles a samurai sword if you are in a more suburban area. A smaller profile one like this is, like, sometimes I'll literally walk around with it like this and just kind of hide it a little bit better.
That's not sketchy at all.
But a good machete, especially like in scouting, when you get a new spot, cutting limbs to get into it, maybe it's a thick area you're trying to get to, or just clearing limbs when you're putting out a trail camera. For false triggers, this is a big one that y'all saw last year if you watched our Ohio episode. This is an earth pond, and I actually picked this up from Pat Nicole Reeves at a Vortex conference last year when I told them about this buck I was hunting, and they were like, have you put in an earth pond? I'm like, what's an earth pond? I actually have a lot of trail cam videos of that buck from last year drinking out of this exact pond. And the logic and reasoning behind this pond is, you know, I had the food where that deer was growing out. He was leaving and going to another person's property where there was another hunter to get water. So what I tried to do was bring the water to him and give him less of a reason to leave my property. So when I brought the water in, as you can tell, like, when you bury this thing, it's really natural. I mean, it looks just like dirt. It's it doesn't come off as super, like, foreign to them. It's just super natural. And he took to it, like, pretty quick. And I think it just kept him on my property more with just bringing everything he needed. He had food, cover, and water. So he wasn't having to leave my property to go to an adjacent property to get his water. I brought the water to him.
All right, random gear pick number 1. This is a Black Diamond AirNet rock climbing harness. I actually bought this thing. I used to be into rock climbing. Bought this thing way back in the day, and you can literally fold this thing up and stuff it in the backpack. It's super light. It only has one adjustment strap, just the waist. The rest of it's just kind of stretchy, and you can stretch it over your legs, over thick pants. Something that's just so much easier to pack around, isn't like restrictive when you're bow hunting, and a lock-on. Little rock climbing harness is pretty clutch. Make sure you guys are comfortable falling in something like this first. I'm used to it, so, like, I don't really need the shoulder straps, but it's definitely different. So if you get one of these, maybe just, like, hook it up to a tree at ground level, kind of fall on it, see how it'll spin you around to the tree. But it's made to fall in, so it's plenty strong, and most likely you're not going to fall anyway. So this is kind of the last ditch effort. All right, second one is not really a piece of gear, but it's how I have my truck set up, and it's mainly the Go Fast camper setup, which I got 2 or 3 years ago now. And basically what it is just a camper topper. A couple things that I love about it. One is the side doors are the whole length of the topper, and they open, close, and you can lock them. So just keeping gear in the back of your truck all the time, not having to worry about it getting stolen. Super clutch having lockable doors on there. You can also access, like, there's so much space to access. You can put a full Yeti cooler through this opening right here if you wanted to. Other great part about it is it's got a pop-up tent on the top. It's a wedge tent. Full queen size mattress up top, super comfortable. I use it all the time when I'm out west. So much country out there where there's not hotels that you can pull over and stop at, so it's easier just to pop the tent and sleep there for the night. Another thing I just added to it, and this is kind of the problem with, like, a big truck like this. The bed is so deep, in order to get stuff out, you gotta crawl up in there. I just got their turbo cubby system put in here. It's like having a toolbox on the side of your truck right here. It's really easy to access. Right now I just have pretty much all Moultrie camera stuff in here. These probably should be in the woods, but they're still in my truck, unfortunately. But I got, like, all the cameras in this little box, and this one is chock full of the Power Mag Pluses. They're lithium battery packs. We'll talk about these more later, but these are clutch. There's a reason I don't have 1,000 AA batteries in the doors of my truck, and it's because we switched to Power Mags.
That's pretty fancy. I ain't gonna lie, that's pretty good.
I don't know why you don't get one.
Yeah. All right, so jumping into the scouting portion of the gear dump. Spotting scopes and also binos are extremely important. We've been with Vortex for how many years? Like 6 years?
At least, yeah.
Love those guys, the people there. They make really quality products. And this spotting scope, you can see, is not brand new by any means at all. This is the Vortex Razor. This thing has been, I have beat this thing to death. I run the Razor because I think when I've been hunting out west for whitetails, some of the better optics I think is really important for a spotter. I actually run the heavier tripod, and the reason is I've run the smaller tripod like this before, which I think has a really good purpose. But when I'm dealing with a lot of winds, like high winds, and I'm using the MagView to get spotting scope footage, if I'm using that smaller tripod, it's really windy and it'll shake it really bad. So this bigger, bulkier tripod from Vortex actually helps me get way more stable imaging when I'm doing my spotting scope. I'm gonna run into my binos real quick. I'm actually running the Crossfires. The Crossfires are more affordable than some of their top line stuff, but these are really, really good optics for the money. It's got the lifetime warranty on it, like no questions asked. I could literally throw these on the ground and stomp on them, send it back, and they'll send you a brand new pair. I'll run you through my bino harness real quick. So I'm running the Vortex Viper on my rangefinder. And this system, you're gonna hate me for this, Drew. So just be prepared. This is one of their old bino harnesses, and I don't know why, like, I just love it. So I've got my binos in here. I've actually shortened this string to go around my neck, and I've got it just in the right like length to where I can use this small clip and just like tuck it in right there and keep it right there. So if I'm tree stand, spot and stalk, it's just kind of like boom right there and back in. And this is where I get really technical with my bino harness setup. So depending on, like, this pair would be fine because it's tall enough to give enough resistance on this upper panel to give this string enough tension on that hook to keep it in place. But if you're using a shorter pair like this, if you leaned over, it would actually fall open and your binos would fall on the ground. So this is genius. You can see in the bottom there, I actually have a bunch of wadded up toilet paper to give me some more resistance and height on that where this strap closes nicely. And if you have an emergency in the woods, it's right there ready to go.
Incredible. Incredible.
Right?
Genius. Pure genius.
That's a quick run through my optics setup. What do you got here, Roland?
Yeah. One thing to note is there's a big difference between whitetail hunting in the east versus whitetail hunting in the Midwest or hunting other big game out west. Here in the east, like, most of our spots you can't see past 100 yards. That's why, like, a pair of the Crossfires is plenty good optics to use for whitetail hunting. Those are the 10x50s. I think they have 8x32s in the Crossfires. Also 10x42s. Like, both of those. I love the 8s. They're small, they're light, and they're plenty for whitetail. I spent a lot of my time out west. Even though I tried to do more whitetail hunting this year, I drew a bunch of western tags anyways. So most of the time for, like, long distance glassing, I'm going for the Razors or the Razor UHDs. Totally agree with Lee on the spotting scope. Like, if you're gonna spend money and you need a spotter, that's where you want to spend your money. Like, that's where you want to get the Razor or the Razor UHD. Because when you're glassing from a long way away and you're having to pick out animals on a mountainside or something, there's a big difference between topping glass versus even like one step down. And it could literally mean the difference of seeing a bedded mule deer or not seeing it with a lower quality glass. If I'm not, I pretty much always opt for the most powerful, biggest spotting scope because you can never have enough magnification on it. When you bust out the spotting scope, like, you want to see as far as you can. If I want to be a step down, I don't generally go for like a smaller spotting scope. I go with big binos. So these are 18 power binos. This is the tripod I use if I'm backpacking in. This is the smallest, lightest one. You definitely don't want to carry one of those in, but totally agree. Like if you're running in your truck, a big tripod with a big fluid head on it is the way to go. It's just way more stable. Let's touch on the mag view real quick. Any of the digiscoping footage that you guys have seen, we've run it with this mag view. Basically it doubles as a lens cover and a filming device to put your phone on there. They just updated this year. Before there was a complaint about like lining up the camera with the lens. They fixed that. Now it comes with this magnetic kind of circle thing that lines up with the magnets on the device, and it pops into place every time. This is my harness setup. Pretty much running this everywhere except for out west where there's gonna be a ton of glassing. I'll pick either a 10 by or 12 by binos, but for all of my whitetail stuff, I've been running the 8x32 UHDs. These things are just so tiny. Like, yeah. It's really nice to not, especially long days, having a heavy bino harness on, it like starts to hurt your neck. And doing that day in, day out, just having these small binos is super helpful. And like I said, 8 power is pretty much good for every whitetail situation unless you're in Kansas or something and you're looking 2 miles away. Rangefinder, I'm also running the Viper HD 3000. This is important. Like I wouldn't skimp on your rangefinder. The biggest difference with the more expensive ones is an illuminated reticle. You can see it a lot better in low light, and also the speed at which it gets a range. Like this one is instantaneous. There are some that are cheaper that it takes a couple seconds, and when a deer's coming in, like you don't have a couple seconds to mess with that, or mess with trying to like figure out where the number is if it's not an illuminated reticle. I run a pouch on the side for that. Seems to work pretty well.
No toilet paper?
No toilet paper in mine, but I might pick up that tip. If there was one thing that Lee, one bit of wisdom that Lee dropped today, it was the toilet paper stuffing.
Yeah, so let's jump into trail cams. Trail cams are super important, big part of our game. You guys obviously know that we've been using Moultries, and we believe they are the best camera for the money. I think right now, actually by the time this video airs, that sale will probably be ending, where you could get 2 of these cameras for $79. Like, you cannot beat that. By the time this video launches, this 2-pack will still be on our website for 99 bucks, which is still a slammer deal. I fell in love with these cameras last year, actually 2 years ago, and have almost exclusively run them on video mode. They give great videos and just a really solid camera for the money. A new one they've dropped that I've actually really liked in certain situations is their solar camera. So if you're on like a field edge or in a field or really just in like an open canopy area, their solar camera comes with a rechargeable pack just like that, and you can literally leave this thing out forever. Like, it will never go dead as long as it's getting enough sunlight. And what's really cool is you can unlock this and you can rotate it, get the correct angle that you need to kind of maximize your charge depending on where the sun is hitting the camera. So that's a really cool one for this year. This is another piece, which is their Easy Aim, and this is like a very small item, but also extremely important in my opinion. I know every single guy that's run trail cameras out there is dealing with sticks and putting sticks this way to angle them a certain way, you know, and it's just like, I'm having to find the right stick. This is like a super simple piece that just slides on the back right here, just like that. And if you run your strap low, it's gonna angle it down. If you run your strap high, it's gonna angle it up higher. It just saves me a lot of time and hassle when I'm putting a camera out and trying to find like the right stick at the right angle. And then a lot of times I've actually had raccoons that will climb the tree and knock the stick off, and then it will just like aim the camera higher. So like, this has solved all those problems. It's literally just a super small piece, but has a big impact on that. I will say a bit of advice on the 2 cameras is most people will run 1 camera at a spot, and it's great to get the information of, hey, this buck is at my spot. We are always trying, I think this is what is a big advantage to us, or just something we've done that maybe most people don't do, is we're constantly trying to track down, okay, where did he come from? Let's get closer to his core area where he's spending more time. And so that's where we'll run a secondary camera on a trail or another scrape, just like trying to get a read on exactly like where he came from. And it just gives us clues on like, we're getting closer to being right on top of him. And a lot of times it has been those chipping away that's led to like, all right, we got him now. So 2 cameras, and especially video mode, you're just getting more information that can help you pattern whitetails a lot better. All right, last thing with trail cameras is these are the Power Mag Pluses. Rechargeable lithium batteries. We originally started trying the Power Mags, and to be honest with you, they were not very great, but you got to start somewhere, and Moultrie actually improved these significantly. These, I think, especially with how expensive AA's are getting, are starting to pay for themselves, I think, after like 3 charges. They're super great, man. It's like you walk up to a camera, pop it in, pop it out, and Drew made a good point earlier. It's like, when we buy AA batteries, if they're at like 50% and we go in to check a camera, it's like, man, I don't want to waste what I spent all this money on with AA, so I'm gonna like run that thing dry. But with these, it doesn't matter if the camera battery that you have in there already is at 50%. It's just like, just pop a fresh one in, pop it out. These are great and will pay for themselves over time, getting rid of some of the AA's. Fair warning, they are expensive. To take away some of the sticker shock there, we're running a deal on our website now, a bundle deal, so y'all check that out. But these are worth the money, they're worth the investment. So if you've got some extra funds laying around and want to save some money on AA's, I would recommend looking at the Power Mag Pluses.
I guess one last thing you didn't touch on is the Moultrie app. Recent update, they just dropped all HD thumbnails. Before you had to request an HD picture. Now every thumbnail in the app when you open it up is HD, which is actually very helpful. If you're scrolling like quickly through it, the small thumbnails, it's a lot easier to see what you're looking at, see detail with the HD thumbnails. Speaking of apps, Spartan Forge, mapping app, we've been using that for 4 years now at least. Running all property lines, landowner names, deer prediction stuff. But the big update this year is their UAV imagery. They have a layer that is actually airplane photography instead of satellite imagery. It started out like kind of small, maybe 15% of the US. They just did a huge update, and I think it's more than 2/3 of the US has that airplane imagery, which is better than any imagery out there. Also, Bill is one of our closest friends, veteran-owned company. Everything is done in the U.S. All the coding is done by his team here in the U.S. in D.C. So if you
some
haven't
of
checked
the
it out.
opposing apps are made in China. So if you're American, ditch the China app. That's all I gotta say.
Well said. All right, jumping into bow
What you want?
setups.
You want bow setups?
Yeah, let's jump into bow setups. Not a ton to say here. I mean, we've been shooting the Matthews for a while. This is the Matthews Lift X. Made the switch for several reasons. Number one being Matthews is a Christian-based company. Love the dudes there. Matthews was my very first bow. But Lee and I both are confident saying that we have never been as confident with a bow before than these bows right here. The one standout thing to me, like when you first pick up a Matthews, is the accessory system and how they attach to the bow. They do that better than anybody else, and I think that's pretty unanimous that that's true. The quiver is extremely solid. Like there is no shake in that thing whatsoever. It's not getting loose. And then they have the bridge lock system where the stabilizers and the sight actually go through the riser. And that is good for a couple of reasons. One, you can adjust the length of your stabilizer if you want to shoot at different lengths, or if you're traveling, you just slide that thing in and it fits in a hard case a lot better. And then the sight bridge lock system is designed to basically just keep all like the weight in the center axis of the bow. The more stuff you hang off the side of your bow, the more you got to put back bar stabilizers and everything to balance it out, and it gets heavy. So just keeping everything streamlined in there is key. Also, with this system, there's one set screw to take this thing off. And whenever I travel and I put this thing in a hard case, I take my sight off so it doesn't get smushed and kind of moved around. And you can slide that right back in the bridge lock system, and it's dead on pretty much every time. I have a little mark with a Sharpie to just make sure I know I'm setting it in the same spot every time. Matthews makes a great bow, great people. Jumping into the sight real quick, this is our co-branded HHA Nitrix Pro sight. We've talked about this a little bit. We've been running HHA for a long time. What I was looking for in a sight when we kind of made this partnership was something that is extremely durable, that is a slider that has a vertical pin slider option, and something that is light and not ridiculously expensive. And HHA to me is like the one sight company that fits perfectly right in that sweet spot. There's other sights that are very durable, but they're twice as heavy. There's other sights that have more features, but they're almost twice as expensive. And I just think like for most of the guys out there, this is a great setup. So this is the Nitrix Pro. The only difference with this one is the yardage wheel comes off. If you're running 2 different arrow setups, you can just pull that off and put your other tape on there. If you're like I'm hunting moose this year, I'm shooting a heavier arrow for that. I'll slide this tape off, put that one on, and you don't have to adjust anything else on your bow.
You covered pretty much all of it. Mine's going to be a lot more simple. This is, you could probably call it the water bow. This is the bow that I shot that buck on public land last year. I actually still have mud kind of all on the bottom from that hunt. But I put this thing through the ringer, through the rain, just like beating it up on spot and stocks. What I'm doing this year is I'm going to do a lot more spot and stock. Traditionally done a lot of tree stand and saddle hunting. The limb legs are something that I think were extremely important on my spot and stock hunt when I was out west last year. Being able to like sit down and have my bow just stationed on the ground and have it in front of me, like ready to go for that deer to stand up. These limb legs were great. Normally, just be like either holding it like this or kind of like laying it down in your lap waiting for that deer to stand up, and then you'd have all this extra movement. I was just limb legs, bow on the ground, ready to go, clipped in. As soon as that deer stood up, it was this instead of this. So I actually like this a lot for spot and stalk hunts. This is kind of set up for a tree stand, but what I'm actually going to do is run a longer stabilizer. And the point in me doing that is if you're going to do a spot and stalk hunt, a big part or important part is like being able to crawl to your places, and how you hold your bow is important. It's kind of hard to sit there and like, how you hold it. And what I've actually learned is if you can run a longer stabilizer, clear your sight, you can actually hold your bow like this and crawl like that, as opposed to having to hold it off the ground. So I'll change some of the stuff up depending on whether I'm hunting out of a tree stand or whether I'm doing spot and stalk. The only other thing on this bow in particular that I'm doing that's different this year is I've always shot a single pin slider. With the bridge lock system, you can interchange these sights super easy and quick. So I have this sight dialed right now. That's a single pin slider, but I've got a 3-pin that I'm actually going to shoot. This one's also dialed in, and as soon as I slide it in, it's going to be pretty darn near close, ready to go. I'm going to use this for elk hunting because you got to draw early, from what I've heard and read and been told. It's like if that elk is at 50, 40, 30, I don't have time to let down and readjust my sight and stuff. So it's like I want a stationary 20, 30, 40, 50, or actually I'll probably run it at like 20, 35, 50 type setup. So depending on the situation, if it's whitetail, tree stand, spot and stalk, I'm probably going to be shooting the single pin. But for the elk situation, I'll probably be shooting the 3-pin. And that's pretty much it for my personal bow. I love this thing. It's done really well for me, and excited to shoot it again this year. All right, jumping into broadheads. This is definitely an update for you guys. For y'all that have followed along, y'all know it's been extremely important to us that we have wanted to design our own broadhead. It has been one of the goals since day one, really, of us tinkering with this stuff. We have realized that's way more difficult than we ever imagined, and we have found a way to get that done. So you guys know we have shot quite literally hundreds of does, hundreds of deer in general, with our bows and arrows, with the call hunts, and along with just hunting bucks over the years. And we've shot about every broadhead they make, and we have gravitated to the G5 series of broadheads. I think you're a T2 guy, right? Mm-hmm. You've shot those and like those?
Oh yeah.
I think Kendall's a mega meat guy. I actually am going to be shooting the dead meats, and the reason I like the dead meats is it's just a smaller profile. It's, I think, going to have less drag going through an animal. So accuracy and penetration are like my two super important things, and I think the dead meat is a broadhead that does a really good job at that. Working with G5, this is the big kicker, and kind of a little bit of a peek behind the curtains, is giving us the opportunity to work with a broadhead manufacturer on actually like us designing our own broadhead and having them bring it to life. We wanted to do it ourselves, realized like that's just not in the cards. We're not a broadhead manufacturing company, so tag teaming with G5 is actually going to hopefully bring that project to life for us.
What I think G5 does really well is that they kind of cover the spectrum of fixed blades and mechanicals. And they have, like with the T2, the Rage was obviously super popular forever. Rear deploying, expandable. T2 is very similar, but it's better. And then they have the Dead Meat, which is a 3-blade rear deploying expandable. And then they have the Montec. I'm sure, like, I remember shooting Montecs back
Like,
when we were
way
in
back when.
middle school, basically.
Yeah.
They have a handful of different fixed blades. They got the Striker. Striker is probably my favorite fixed blade that they have, mainly because how sharp the blades are. I think that's very important.
So I think this is a good move on our part for 2 reasons. It can bring our own Broadhead project to life, finally gives us that capability, and 2, we have piled up a lot of deer with these Broadheads already, and they've performed extremely well for us. So tried and true, tested on real world situations, not, you know, testing it on this test and this ballistic jet. Like, those tests are great, but like real world testing is where like proof is in the pudding. And we've killed a lot of deer with these Broadheads. All right, so saddles, you guys have seen our version of the Workhorse from the Grit series from Tethered in Real True Original. This is our version of our saddle. You've seen how simple I am. I keep toilet paper in my bino harness, and it's simple but genius. And I like how simple this is. This is just a really good saddle. It's comfortable. I really like the stitched in pockets. I hate kind of this extra, all the extra stuff you got to add on. Like, there's certain people that should definitely gravitate to that. And if that's your style, like, you're probably better off with the carnivore saddle, but I just like it simple. If you're getting into saddle hunting or you're just looking for a simple saddle, like, this is a really good product. I used this all last year, killed the Ohio 212 out of it last year. And again, like, proof is in the pudding. We've used them, and they're great. We hunt out of them a lot. If you're looking for something extra, like for long sits is something, and comfort is a big deal for saddle hunting. Tethered came out with this 2-panel system here from the carnivore line. So this can ride up underneath you a bit and gives you more of a bit of comfort. Like if you're on long sits, it's a little more complex, but if you're looking for comfort, the carnivore is a good system and series, or a good saddle for you guys out there. So 2 different options there. I actually think they're sold out of the regulars on Tethered, but we actually are probably the only ones that have them right now. So check our website if you want the carnivore, and then also our saddle is available too. This is the Grit platform. Then we also have Grit sticks. This is going to be the most affordable way to get into saddle hunting. Just super solid stands for the money. And again, we have killed a lot of deer out of these things and beaten these things to death. And the last thing to go with the saddle hunting stuff is our saddle cam. So if you watched our doe hunt last year, end of the year, I actually filmed a couple of those hunts on this exact saddle cam. It's pretty nifty to just pull your phone out, boom, stick it on the magnet right there, and you can sit there and self film. Like I said, a lot of the footage I use, these are filming 4K now. So cell phone footage is if you're just looking to get into hunts or just want to document some of your own hunts, this is a really easy way to get some cell phone footage of your own hunts.
Saddles, I love saddles. We've been almost exclusively using saddles the last few years. We wanted to bring a lock-on back into the mix. I miss lock-on hunting. I think there's certain situations where a saddle definitely is advantageous. Couple of those being if you're hunting a field edge, a lot of the trees are kind of growing in. They're not straight. It's hard to get a lock-on on them. You can get a saddle on just about any crooked tree, small trees. Also, late in the year when the tree cover, the leaf cover is all falling off, you really, having a saddle and being able to keep the tree between you and the deer is really helpful. You can kind of swing back and forth as the deer are coming in, draw your bow kind of behind the tree and then pop out. But a lot of times a lock-on can be more comfortable. There's quite a few lock-on brands out there. We've tried them all. We actually just started trying these Elevates the last couple months, and look how small this thing is. It is so light. I don't know what the weight is on it, but can't be much more than a saddle platform in a saddle. It is very lightweight. There's actually some backpack straps that you can put on this thing and wear it as a backpack, and then put your actual tree stand pack over the top of it. This is our smallest one. This is the Ultra X. And then this one, it's still really lightweight for its size, but it is heavier, a lot bigger platform, a lot bigger seat. This is the Element. And this would probably be more for spots around here where we're leaving stands in the tree for like most of the year. Kendall also will be using mostly this one because he doesn't like the tiny stands. So he's already got a bunch of these out.
He's not a big heights guy.
Yeah, not a big heights guy. He's a big comfort guy, which I don't blame him. But these are all American made, great company, all CNC machine out of aluminum, extremely high quality. They are expensive, but most guys are going to run this as like a running gun setup, like we're using saddles for. So you're not really leaving these in the woods that much, and they're so light and so easy to carry. Like you really don't need to. Same thing with sticks. They have really small, lightweight sticks. But I'm excited to get back on a lock on every now and then.
There's 100% certain situations where you would want to lock on over a saddle.
Yeah.
A situation I can think of is like a stand I'm going to hunt repeatedly. But also like a field edge where I'm, maybe hunting a bean field and want to shoot a further distance. Like saddle hunting, I think is great for getting into tight spaces. But if you're wanting to shoot a deer at like 50 yards potentially in a bean field, like I like the stability of like standing there and coming at full draw and being able to settle and make a good shot. So it's situational. And we want to make sure that we are armed with both. Those are the ones we like the best. And, I don't know. Did we cover everything?
We covered enough. It's been a long one.
Yeah.
Thank you all for hanging in there with us.
Yeah. It's been a lot of talking, a lot of information, but that's kind of the point, is a gear dump for us to just like get some information out there. Hope you guys picked up on some tidbits of how to keep your truck extremely organized. In closing, thank you guys. We're actually headed to Tennessee for the opener like now, but wanted to make sure that we did a gear dump. I've never done one. It's been a while since Drew did one. So wanted to bring you guys up to speed on that and just projects we have in-house with the build out, the giveaways, and then the corn carrier, not corn carrier, but feed hauler, and then also Bonehead. Double entries on Bonehead purchases. Hunt giveaway is launching as soon as this video is live. That one's gonna run for about a month, and then soon to follow will be the Kawasaki giveaway. It's hunting season.
Let's go kill some bucks.
We're jumping full steam into it. Appreciate you guys watching. That was a lot. I think we covered everything.